You spend 4 hours at 2 a.m. in a midtown Manhattan office, adjusting the hex codes on a pie chart to match a client's brand guidelines. You sit in a windowless room in D.C. and sign a document that removes a $4 billion subsidy from a foreign energy grid. You arrive on the 45th floor at 8:15 a.m. You open PowerPoint. You align 32 text boxes. You use a 10-point Arial font. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average starting salary for a management analyst in the United States is $95,290. McKinsey & Company offers a $30,000 signing bonus to new undergraduates. You spend 12 hours making sure the arrows on slide 14 do not overlap with the logo. Are you optimizing your utilization rate? You eat a $24 salad at your desk. You finish the deck at 1:40 a.m. You tell yourself that the alignment of these boxes creates a mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive framework for a $50 million merger. You send the file to your associate. You walk to the Uber lounge. The next morning, you sit at a monitor. You open Excel. You build a 3-statement model for a retail chain in Ohio. You link the depreciation schedule to the cash flow statement. You trace precedents through 9 tabs. You find a rounding error in cell AF402. You correct it. Your total compensation is now $210,000. Management Consulted reports a 20% annual turnover rate at top consulting firms. Associates stay in the role for 24 months. You speak once during the internal team meeting. You explain the 4.2% margin compression. You tell yourself that your sensitivity analysis isolates the exact variables of the client's EBITDA decline. You leave the office at midnight. You sit between the client's vice president and your junior team. You manage 3 separate work streams. You check the utilization rates on Tuesday morning. You delete 6 slides from the deck. You tell the business analyst to restart the industry analysis. You receive 48 emails during a 45-minute lunch. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that management analysts work an average of 55 to 60 hours per week. Engagement managers at Tier 1 firms oversee projects with budgets exceeding $2 million. You walk through O'Hare International Airport. You take a taxi to downtown Chicago. You check into the Marriott. You tell yourself that optimal resource allocation requires strict utilization management to prevent systemic bottleneck failures. You open your laptop. You do not open PowerPoint. You spend 6 hours on the phone. You draft a proposal for a $3 million digital transformation. Principal consultants generate between $5 million and $10 million in annual new business, according to Management Consulted. You attend a steerco meeting in Atlanta. You sit at the head of the table. You mention the 80-20 rule twice. You take the client's chief operating officer to a steakhouse in Buckhead. You pay the $1,200 bill with the firm's credit card. Glassdoor data confirms a principal performance bonus equals 50% of base salary. Are you scaling the account margins or just deferring the delivery risk? You fly home on Friday night. You sleep through Saturday. You tell yourself that revenue origination is simply the alignment of capability matrices with unarticulated enterprise demand. You have not opened a spreadsheet in 5 months. You own equity in the partnership. Junior partners at Big 3 firms typically earn a total package between $500,000 and $1.1 million. Your annual draw is $750,000. You walk into the client's Chicago boardroom. You speak for 10 minutes without looking at a screen. You define the 5-year vision for a global logistics firm. You sign a non-disclosure agreement. The Harvard Business Review reports that partners spend over 30% of their time on client relationship management. You fly private to a conference in Aspen. You stay for 2 days. You do not ski. You tell yourself that stakeholder alignment provides the structural framework for market integration. Your tailored suit costs more than your first car. You answer 3 calls from the managing director. You board the return flight. You have no office. You hold a seat on the Global Personnel Committee. You review the compensation files of 400 people. You approve the figures. Management Consulted reports a $3 million average annual compensation for senior partners. The average tenure exceeds 10 years. You fly to London. You leave Heathrow. You enter a black car. You arrive at Whitehall. You sit at a long table. You meet with a government minister. You discuss the privatization of a national rail network. The minister speaks for 40 minutes. You speak for 2 minutes. You open your laptop. You write 3 sentences in a memo. You delete the adjectives. You send the document. You close the laptop. You walk out of the building. You walk to the taxi stand. You wait for the elevator. You sit in a chair. You look at a map on a screen. You approve the closure of the Johannesburg office. You authorize a $400 million acquisition of a data firm in Chicago. ALM Intelligence reports that managing directors at strategy firms oversee operations employing over 5,000 people. The operations generate over $2 billion in revenue per year. You open the market share report for North America. You review the margin. You close the folder. You do not use a phone. You speak into a desk microphone. The board of a Fortune 50 company in Detroit waits for your nod. The monitor displays 12 executives. You nod once. The monitor powers down. You stand up. You leave the room. You check your watch. You arrive in Washington. You sit in a room. You meet a head of state. You review a structural adjustment plan. You remove a $4 billion subsidy. You increase the retirement age by 2 years. Strategy firms have directed over 40% of major national restructuring projects globally over the last decade, according to the Financial Times. You sign the document. You place the pen in your pocket. You walk down a hallway. You enter a car. The car moves. You look out the window. A young man in a slim-fit navy suit enters the lobby of the New York office. He carries a leather laptop bag. He holds a paper cup of coffee. He stops at the security desk. He shows an ID. He looks at the elevator bank. Do you remember the hex codes? You walk past him toward the revolving door. You do not look at his face. He does not look at yours. You step onto the sidewalk of 6th Avenue. You wait for the car door to open. The architecture remains, while the architects are replaced.